Anybody awakened yet? Just give it another couple of minutes, you know yourself, for amount of time and lack of Wi-Fi up in that direction, you know. A wee option coming up here to let other people be on the camera. Does anybody else want to be on screen here? Julie, how I'll add you to the camera here, Julie. We'll just give it another wee minute or two. Jesus, Claire McGurn and Emer Flanagan are here. Who'd have thought? Them on the wine all night. Siobhan, you want up in the camera? That's no problem now. The more the merrier. If they're presentable pyjamas, Michelle, you could get away with it, alright. Right, I think we'll make a wee start here. It's good to see so many in there. I didn't think there'd be that many on the Saturday morning group, live anyway. Remy McGoldrick's out of his bed now, that's a rarity at this time on a Saturday. Bad hair day, she wants to know myself. Right, we're made a wee start here. I'll need to plug in the microphone. Okay, just going to plug in this wee microphone. If someone can give me a wee bit of thumbs up here if you can still hear me. Okay, is the sound still okay? Any issues there, let me know. Hopefully we're good to go. You're not getting any of that background children screaming. That's a thumbs up from Emma. It's good to go then, we'll make a start. Alright, so we'll spend the first portion of the class in a standing position, but it's a lot of the same basics that we had while we were lying on our back from Friday night. So it's trying to get centered and all that. Hopefully you've watched the basics video during the week, and this will all make sense to you very quick. But if you haven't, I'll run through them quite quickly here just to make sure everybody's set and sorted. So we'll start from the ground up really. If we take our feet, we're going to go tight together. We'll not do this every session. We're just going to go through all this at the start and hopefully you'll know it then just to get a feel for it. So with your feet tight together, keeping your heels together. We did this on our back the other day, but keep your heels together, open up the toes and then open up the heels in line with your toes then. So that's as wide apart as you need to be. Your second toe should be roughly in line with your hip bone. So when we say standing hip width apart, you'll see a lot of people going like that, being very cruel to themselves. Hip width apart, just here, okay? And then a lot of us, if we're standing about or chatting to somebody, you'll find yourself leaning on one leg, okay? So most of us with dominant leg and lean to one side. We're going to try and spread the weight equally through both feet. So pay attention to the feel, try and get a feel of what your feet are doing. Want 3 points of contact on each foot, so the base of your big toe, the base of the wee toe, and then at the heel. So if you think about those 3 points, the weight spread equally on those wee triangles under each foot, foot or foot. Sorry, I'm from Dromore, so we say foot. We're going to spread the weight equally, and then once we're set up there, we're going to rock forward and back gently, Just rocking forward and back gently from your heels to toes. Heels to toe, nice and steady. And then we're going to move from side to side, from the outside of your left foot to the outside of your right foot. And then imagine a ring around your 2 feet, and you're going to roll around the ring. So onto your toes, the back of the side of your foot, onto the back of the feet, the side of your other foot, just going around a wee circle, like a spinning top, nearly just spin around, change direction. Get a real feel for the wee muscles in your feet here, the amount of control that they can give you. And then once we're ready, make that wee circle get smaller and smaller, so we're coming right into the centre. And you should be just perfectly balanced there now on both feet, okay? So the weight spread equally through both feet, and I'll not keep saying that. All right, so hold that position. I'm just going to turn sideways. Want a wee slight softness in our knees, so we're not locked out completely at the knee. Just take that lock off. So just a slight softness, near enough straight at the legs, but not locked out dead straight. And then the most important one, hands on the hips. So imagine this like a bucket of water. This is for Geraldine Riley here. A bucket of water. Tip the bucket forward and the water pours out. Tip the bucket back and the water pours out the back. We're just going to roll forward and back. Try and get that movement through your pelvis. This is why we started on the mat on Friday night. It's easier to get a feel for this on the mat. It's a wee bit trickier standing. So we're not leaning our whole back and forward. It's just the pelvis. Rock it forward and back. And then find a neutral position. So a neutral position where that bucket's nice and level. There's no water pouring out. So again, if we compare this to day-to-day life, very common for people to have the hips rolled forward. That anterior pelvic tilt is called. A lot more people are aware of it now than they used to be. But at least that tightness in the lower back, just day to day you might feel it. But if you go to the gym or if you're going to do other exercises and lifting stuff overhead, there's a lot of weight being pushed down the wrong angle through your spine. Whereas we need that neutral pelvis. So that's why this is important. So try and maintain that neutral pelvis again. Fingertips and the hip bones, bring them in an inch and down an inch, and you feel that pelvic floor muscle just slightly tightened up. With our belly button drawn in slightly. Just keeping these muscles engaged again at about 3 out of 10 intensity. We're not squeezing as tight as we can. It's just about 3 out of 10. Keep them switched on. Okay, so weight spread equally through both feet. Knees soft, neutral pelvis. And then we're going to roll our shoulders up and round. Shrug them up towards our ears and roll them back. Nice big range of motion. And if we compare this to day-to-day life again, just keep your shoulders down and back then. Imagine your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades are being pulled down, sliding down in your back towards your back pockets. So if you think about this in a day-to-day scenario, a lot of us working at computers or driving all day, shoulders come to that rounded forward position. Okay, so we want to just keep the muscles in our back strong, hold that posture back, or even the mobile phone posture that a lot of us are getting now, the head forward all the time. Shoulders back, chin tucked in gently, and your neck is just a nice extension of the spine. So from tailbone up to the top of your head, just imagine you're like a puppet in strings, just as tall as you can be possibly. So nice and tall, everything's set up now, all right? So from here, keeping the core engaged, we're going to float our arms up in front and relax back down. Float our arms up in front and relax back down. Nice basic exercise. And just pay attention now, because this is, I'd say some people are doing this, they're shrugging their shoulders up. Okay, so there's all this tension that we're getting used to using that we shouldn't be really. So if you're shrugging your shoulders up there, keep them down away from your ears. Nice big space between your shoulders and ears. So shrug up, or float the arms up, not shrug, float the arms up. And on your next one, next time we raise the arms up, come up onto your tiptoes as well, up in that wee heel raise. And we'll stay here for a wee second. Because we've the core engaged, we've still got that switched on, remember? We're holding a nice balanced posture. Nice and tall. I'm just going to turn sideways, relax your heels back down, come back up into that again. What you don't want is to let go of the core and your hips drift forward. That's what I'm talking about, that anterior tilt that's very common. I want to keep the core engaged. Just hold that position again and back down. Okay? So we'll go back to what I said at the start of Thursday's class. All these exercises can be quite easy if you do them wrong. All right, so the fitter people tend to jump in and do the harder version of every exercise, but you mightn't be doing it right. So drop the pride a wee bit, strip back to the very basics and make sure we're doing them well. So we're centered through the core and pelvis, fingertips in your hip bones, making sure we keep that level position, all right? So we're not letting the bucket tilt forward. We don't want the hips shimmying side to side here either. You can save that for your catwalk, all right? So tummy nice and tight. We're gonna raise one heel off the floor, just your heel, and back down. Very simple. Heel up off the ground, your knee will come up in front a wee bit. Very simple, but very easy to do it wrong and let that hip hitch up. I'll show you what I mean. There's a bad one there. The hip hitches up instead. Right, so brace through the tummy. Lift that heel up, tighten up through the tummy muscles now. We're going to bring the knee on up as well. If you find that hard to balance, come back down and tap the floor and bring it up again. So you have to draw in quite deep into the tummy. Your standing leg automatically kicks into action through that glute. Come right down to the floor, just touch the ground for balance each time. If you're comfortable, stay up off the floor and just float the knee up and down. We're taking it on up as high as you can lift the knee without hitching your hips away over to the side. And you'll start to feel that wee bit of work through the very front of your hip flexor. Core stays engaged. Backside nice and tight on your standing leg. And the hips are still level where we started with your two hip bones. They're not twisting and turning. In theory, they're not anyway. Okay, we'll relax that heel back down on the floor. Tummy muscle still zipped up tight. We'll lift your other heel off the ground next. Just the heel. Just get a wee feel for that, making sure we're not twisting and turning at the hips again. And then when you're ready, we're just going to lift that knee on up as well. And back down. Back down to the floor each time if you like. Tummy muscles zipped up tight. If you're comfortable there, keep the leg up where you don't come down to the floor, just making it that bit more challenging. And relax. Okay. Still holding that centered position. Roll the shoulders down and back. Make sure we're holding that nice tall posture. We're going to take our hands up towards the roof, the palms of the hands towards the roof. I'll show you from the side. Elbows tucked in, so we're here. And then turn your forearms out. Keep your elbows in close to the side. Don't reach them out. Just turn your forearms out and back in. Forearms out and back in. And none of this should feel forced. We're not squeezing away back and leaning back. It's just a nice wee shrug back. You should feel it working around the back of your shoulder here. So again, it's just a very simple exercise, but it's to kind of counteract that computer or driving position where we're rounded forward all the time. So you mightn't feel like this is too challenging, but it could be doing you more help than you realise. And on our next one, keep the forearms turned out. We're going to reach long to the sides with the palms of the hands turned down. Okay, and then turn the palms of the hands away from you. Feel a nice stretch up through the arms. Hold that position for a few seconds. Relax the hands down. Turn the palms towards the front. Face the camera here, face me. And pinch the shoulder blades back together. Without leaning back, we're holding that strong posture. Shrug your shoulder blades back and down. Feel a nice wee stretch across the chest and a wee bit of a pinch between the shoulder blades. And relax, just turn the palms up to the sides again, away from you, reach away. And imagine we're trying to stretch both hands as wide as we can. Stretch Armstrong style here, reach, reach, reach. Feel that deep stretch across the chest, right through the arms, like a big stretch through the nerves. And relax. Elbows back down with the palms up. And just another couple of wee rotations here. It's called the dumb waiter exercise. I don't know why. And relax. Okay. I'll just turn sideways here. We'll hold that same position. So same posture. This is an important exercise. I mentioned a few times on Thursday evening there about articulating the spine, getting the vertebra moving. So this is the best exercise for it. Do it at your own speed here, but it's just a roll down. So slight softness in the knees. Start from the head. We're going to roll the spine over in itself. Tuck the chin towards your chest, then your neck, then your shoulders and upper back, and just roll down one vertebra at a time until we're into hang at the bottom. So just hold that position here, nice and relaxed. Tummy muscles drawn in slightly, and you feel a nice lengthening right through your back. Okay, so pull the tummy muscles in tight. Roll the vertebra back up on itself, one vertebra at a time, one link of the spine at a time, stack them up like building blocks, and brings you back up to that centered position through the tummy, shoulders down and back, tall posture. We're going to do another couple of those. If you try and, just the imagery, if you're happy enough with what you're doing there, please feel free to go on with it. What we want to avoid in this one is pushing your bum back. Okay, so we want our spine doing the movement, roll over on itself. Think of your spine like a slinky going down the stairs, one link, then the next, the next, the next. Just roll over like a slinky going down the stairs. Slight softness in the knees. It's not forced, we're just going to hang at the bottom. A few nice deep breaths wide into your rib cage. And then pull in at the tummy, roll the spine back up. Okay, so we'll do another couple of those before we're finished this morning. And if you're feeling a lot of tightness or stiffness at some area in your back, it'll be different for everybody. Some people mid-back, some people lower back. By the end of the session today, you should feel quite free and loose in your back, okay? So we'll set up again, spread the weight equally through both feet. That's centered position. We're going to float up into the heel raise, arms up in front. So we're up on our tiptoes here. This time, keeping your knees hip width apart. Don't let them drop out to the sides or turn in. Keep them hip width apart. We're going to lower down into Louis squat. So we're still on a heel raise as well. We're trying to avoid the knees dropping out like this or coming in. Just keep them hip width apart. Tummy muscles nice and tight. If you find that challenging, just press yourself back up to the top. We're only here for another 90 seconds or so anyway. That's 90. All right, tummy in tight, squeeze up to the top and relax. Okay, so we feel that right through the thighs, hopefully. Find that centered position again. Hands in the hip bones gives you a nice wee guide. We're not using your hands to hold the pelvis stable. It just lets you know if the hips are moving or not. So hands in the hip bones. Lift one heel off the floor, up onto the tiptoes. We're going to turn that knee around to the side and back to the front. Turn it around and back to the front. So it's just a wee hip twist exercise. I'll progress this very quickly. If you already know the more challenging version, please feel free to jump in. But keeping the hips pointing directly in front of you. The two hip bones are staying directly in front while that knee turns out. Easy. Very easy to just turn around with your lower back. That's what we're trying to avoid here. It's the wee small muscles in around your backside. You might feel the clams from the other evening there at this stage. So tummy nice and tight again. Change legs, so lift your heel off the floor up onto the tiptoes and turn that knee out. Nice and simple. And it's the wee muscles in around your backside that we're working here. And we're not, I'll show you a bad one again, we're not turning around with the pelvis. I'm really exaggerating it, but if you can feel your hips turning in your hands at all, you're pushing that too much. It's just the leg. So we're engaged at the core and allowing the leg to do the work itself. Okay, back in there again. Float back up into the heel raise. Tummy nice and tight. Bend at the knees, lower down into another squat. Remembering to keep the knees hip width apart. If that's too challenging, don't stay too long at the bottom. If you're comfortable here, we'll just stay another few seconds. Check in at the shoulders so we're not tensing up. You might be in a slight lean forward here with your back, that's fine, but we're trying not to round over. So keep your back nice and long and straight. If you lean over a wee bit, that's fine, we'll not get hung up on that. Tummy nice and tight, squeeze up at the back side and relax the heels on the ground again. Right? So if you feel that, it's just a wee taster. Alright, there'll be plenty more of that over the next 6 weeks. Okay, we'll come back into a slightly more challenging version of the hip twist now. Same basics, our pelvis is staying stable. Lift your heel up off the floor, tummy nice and tight, and bring the knee on up as well. If you're finding that hard to balance, same as before, come back down each time. But if you're comfortable here, we're going to bring the knee up, turn around to the side without letting your pelvis turn, remember. Back in and back down a wee bit. To the floor if you need to for balance. Around to the side, back in, back down. Let's keep that going. Up, to the side, back in and back down. If your exercise is starting to look like this and you're doing everything you can to balance, make it a bit easier. You can keep that toe on the floor, turn the knee out and back in. If you want to make it a bit more challenging than that, but still easier, turn the sole of your foot against your calf. We can do a hip twist from there. Alright, so if the balance is becoming your main issue and you're not getting the rest of the exercise done properly, make it easier. Focus on the movement here. Let's come back down, both feet back onto the floor, spread the weight equally through both feet, tummy tight, float up into that heel raise again. Going to lower down into the squat, knees hip width apart, come halfway up and halfway down, halfway up and right back down. That's good. Up and down. And then we're going to tummy in tight, squeeze at the backside, take yourself right up to the top. Heels on the floor, hip width apart, change legs now. So it's the knee raise up in front of the wee leg lift. Right to the ground if you need to for balance. If you're comfortable, keep it up there. We'll add the hip twist, back round and back down a wee bit. Up, around, in and down. Remember to make it easier if you need to, you can have the ball of your foot against the calf. Turn the knee around in the hip twist like this. Or easier again. Don't be too proud to make it easier. Look for the proper movement. Look for that stability at the pelvis. Let's keep that going just. Heap is the heat on here. Don't know, you must think oil's very cheap or something, but we go tummy tight again. Both feet on the floor. One more time in the squat. Float the heels up, arms up in front, and we'll lower down into that wee squat. Okay, challenging version here now. We're going to hold there. If you can, tummy stays tight, put your heels on the ground and lift them again. Heels down, heels up, heels down, heels up. And just squeeze right up to the top, squeeze the muscles in your backside, take it up tall to the top and relax. Okay, and we'll check in again at the roll down. Tummy muscles engaged. Don't push your bum away out. So the movement's coming through your spine, not from your hips in this one. So chin towards your chest. Roll the spine over, just like a slinky down the stairs again. Roll down into it, hang at the bottom, hang there for a few breaths. Just relax that stretch into your back. That's good. Pull in at the tummy, roll the spine up tall to the top, taking you back up into that top position and relax. Okay, so we're going to come to the mat here now. Stand on the tip of your mat. Just to transition into the next exercise, we'll do another roll down. So feet still hip width apart, chin towards the chest, roll the vertebra down one by one, hang at the bottom. So let go through the neck and shoulders. We're not straining up to look around us. Let go, neck and shoulders totally relaxed. Nice deep breaths. Feel that open right up through the back. And then from there we'll bend our knees and come down onto the mat. Okay, so we're coming down onto our hands and knees. So we did a wee bit of this the other evening. Hands under your shoulders, knees under the hips. And we'll start from the tailbone again. So curl in the pelvis. So tuck the tailbone in, roll the spine up. And then from the rib cage or belly button, drop towards the mat again. Tuck the tailbone in, roll up. And then drop towards the mat again. So we're getting a nice arch position on the way up. And then letting your back bow down on the way down. You feel that movement through the spine again, similar to the roll downs from standing position. Try and picture your spine just moving freely. Find a halfway point then between those two positions. So away from the two extremes, we're into a neutral pelvis from your tailbone to the top of your head, a really long straight line. Toes curled in underneath you, belly button pulled up tight. Again, think of that tight top button on a pair of jeans or something. We pull in nice and tight. Take a wee breath in to get ready, and then on your breath out, lift your knees an inch off the ground, and we're going to hold there. So you should feel that strong around the tummy, just a deep squeeze really. If you feel like that's creeped into your back, just take a wee break, set the knees down. Or if you need a break, take a break. Okay, but if you felt like that crept into your back whenever you lifted, I'll just show you again. Tuck in the tailbone slightly, belly button pulled up and in. When you go into your lift, make sure the belly button's pulled up and in deeply. Alright, it's very easy to let this slip out. I'll show you a really bad one. Very easy to let it slip, and then your tailbone lifts out and your back arches down, and then it's all in your lower back rather than your tummy. Okay, so if you're still up in that wee position from the very start there, good for you. Brilliant. We'll take a wee break, set the knees down, point your toes away, and sit back onto your heels with the fingertips reaching long out in front. Nice long stretch up the side of your back here. And breathe into it as well. And relax. Okay, so back up onto your hands and knees. I said this the other evening, if you're finding it sore in your wrists, take a wee break, give them a shake out really. Or if it's repeatedly sore, you can try your hands a wee bit further out in front so it's not as sharp an angle here at the wrist. Okay, so from here now, same centered position, so tailbone tucked in, belly button pulled up and in. Feel those tummy muscles engaged straight away. And try and keep your hips level, so just stay where we are there, but similar to standing, when we have our hands on our hips and the hips directly forward in front of us, try and keep the hips pointed towards the mat, okay? So don't let them twist around to the sides, don't let them turn out behind us. The hip bones, the pelvis is staying really stable here. I'm just over-egging this one because it's so commonly done wrong, but belly button pulled it up and in nice and tight. Take your right leg and slowly reach it long behind you while keeping the pelvis stable. Okay, so your heel is the furthest point out, toes curled in, and you feel a wee bit of a squeeze there through the backside. Bring that knee back in and out again. If you don't feel the squeeze in your backside, you should still feel it up through the tummy as well. I'll just show you what might be happening, is that your back might be arching down, that's coming from the pelvis rolling forward like this. Or it might be reaching out to the side, your pelvis might be turning up to the side, so commonly done. So your two hip bones should be staying really square there with the mat. Shouldn't move. We'll keep going in and out with that right leg. And the next time we reach the leg out, we're going to keep it there. Reach long through that heel, belly button pulled up and in tight. And take your left arm out in front as well. So as much length between our heel, our right heel and our left fingertips as we can, with the tummy muscles pulled up and in strong as well at the same time. Slowly return to the start, back onto the hands and knees. We're going to take our left arm this time and feed it in underneath your body. So feed it in underneath your body. Big rotation through your shoulders and back. And take the shoulder blades back up beside each other. This is called thread the needle here. We're just going to reach in underneath. And back up. It's not really, it's quite an easy exercise. It's hard to do wrong, but it should be a nice stretch, a nice rotation through the mid-back here. So feed that arm in underneath, breathe down into it. Try not to let the hips push back and forward. We're still keeping them square where they are. And back up to the top, okay? So we'll change that then into the right hand, thread the needle in onto the body. And back up. Breathe out into the stretch. And breathe in to come back up, shoulder blades up tight together again. Reach out. And back up. We'll do one more there. Feel that big rotation through the spine. And we're back up to the top again. Okay? So if your wrists are feeling it here, take a wee break. No problem. We're going to set up again. Just check in it with the tailbone tucked in, belly button drawn up and in as well. All the same pointers if we're standing or lying down. Shoulder blades are down. Our shoulders, are down back away from our ears. Don't tense up. So if you find yourself just tense all the time, try relax. It's the weekend. Alright, so shoulders pulled back and down. Tummy tight. We're going to go with our left leg this time without letting your pelvis move to the side or to roll forward. Reach that left leg long behind and back in. Reach it out and back in. So again, just to reinforce the point again, very easy to do that exercise. If I asked you to do that, everybody will be able to do it, no problem. It's just harder to do it while keeping your pelvis really still. Okay, you have to use the muscles in your backside at that stage. So squeeze out through the heel. You have to engage at the core to keep that pelvis stable. And we'll keep the leg out this time. Tummy muscles still tight, so just check in, pull the belly button up and in. Reach your right arm long in front. And we'll hold there. Right fingertips to left heel as long as we can make them. while we keep the belly button zipped up and tight all the time. And we'll come back in again, hands and knees on the floor. And we'll sit back long onto the heels again, fingertips inched out way out in front. Breathe wide in that stretch again. Okay, the time's getting away from me a wee bit here this morning. We've so much more to do, but curl your toes in towards you, walk the hands back towards your feet, and your knees start to lift. We should be here hanging at the bottom of that roll down position. Check your feet that they're hip width apart. Pull in at the tummy and roll the spine. Stack the vertebrae up like building blocks, one up on top of the next, till we're up into that tall position at the top again. Okay? So, back, I'll just come back around. You can stand wherever you want. I can't see you, don't worry. So, tummy nice and tight. Find that centered position. I'll do a quick check in again. Spread the weight equally through both feet. Don't stand all on your dominant leg. Spread the weight equally through both feet. 3 points of contact under your heel, wee toe and big toe. Slight softness at the knees. And then a neutral pelvis. Okay? So hopefully you can see here, but that's not neutral. That's an anterior tilt. That's less common there. That's the posterior tilt where our pelvis is rolled back slightly. We want to be neutral. Okay, so tummy nice and tight. Shoulders down and back, shoulder blades just slightly drawn back towards each other without leaning back. So shoulder blades down and back, and neck up nice and tall. Alright, so from here, again, float the arms up onto the wee heel raise. Okay, we'll not do a squat from this position, don't worry, we're just going to, keeping the core engaged, set your heels down and back up. Heels down and back up. Heels down, back up. Let's keep that going. Now we're going to do a wee double tap, so it's hard to control this one, it's hard to maintain that posture, just do your best with it. A wee double tap quite quick, so tap, tap and up. Tap, tap and up. Tap, tap and up. Up, good. Keep that going. You feel that warming up through the calves, hopefully. I find this one great for the high heels and all, you know, so. These jokes are all funny in my head. Tap, tap and up. Feel that really warming up through the calves here. We'll do one more. Tap, tap and up. And relax the heels back down. Okay, so still holding that strong posture. Engage through the core. Step the feet out a wee bit wider now, about shoulder width slight. If you check, if somebody's there doing it with you, or if you can see a mirror or glance down or something, want the feet a wee bit wider than shoulder width. Just slightly wider. Toes turned out a wee bit as well. Still engaged through the core. We're going to float our arms up and bend the knees at the same time. So we're down into a wee squat. Glance down in this first one. If you look inside your knees, you should still be able to see your big toes. Okay, so if the knees are coming in, you can't see your toes, open them out a bit wider. Squeeze the muscles in your backside to come up again and back down. Up and back down. Okay, so I learned this years ago in the Dromore Ballet Club. Just keeping it going myself single-handedly. Jerry McCullough there helping me out. I'm a natural, as you can see. Just come down into the next one. Hold that position, tummy tight. Lift your heels off the floor and set them back down. Heels up, set them back down. Take a wee check. Watch that the knees haven't come in. Still be able to see your big toes. Heels up, back down. Heels up, back down. Up, down, up, down. So we're holding that same depth of a squat. We're not bringing your whole body up and down like this. It's just your heels. Your knees will raise. And that's it. And we'll press up to the top. Relax. Feet in a wee bit closer together again. Take another roll down before we repeat that one more time. Roll down. Take that nice length right through your back. If you're comfortable with this, keeping your hips still, keep your hips still and just turn your upper body around slightly to one side and around slightly to the other side. So don't let your hips start swinging like this. You're keeping your backside still. Just turn through the upper back. We'll come back into the centre. Relax completely through the neck and shoulders. Pull in at the tummy. And roll all the way up to the top again. Good. Getting warm in here. Maybe it's just me. So we'll take the feet out, a wee bit wider and shoulder width apart again. Back into this wee plie squat again. Float the arms up to the sides. Down into our first one. Check that our knees are out still, that you can still see your big toes. And we're going to add that wee heel raise again. Okay, so stay up in the heel raise, making this more challenging. If it's too difficult for you, keep your heels on the floor. But we're going to hold there. Squeeze the muscles in your backside to push yourself up and lower back down. All the while our heels are still off the ground. Push up and back down. Push up, back down. Up. What else would you be doing on a Saturday morning here at 9:30? We'll relax back down. Heels in the floor, squeeze the muscles in your backside, take it up to the top and relax again. We'll stay with that nice hip width apart stance, or shoulder width apart stance. Hips level still, take left arm up over the top. Okay, watch the hips, don't push them out to the side, keep them there, and that long mermaid stretch over the top. And relax and come up and across with the other side. Feel a lovely stretch up through the side here. And relax, trying to get that freedom right through your back and spine. Feet up a bit hip width apart again. Take a wee second to get centered. Left arm up and over the top again. Take that stretch, avoid letting the hips push out to the side. Keep the hips just square at the top. And then more or less collapse forward, allow the chest to roll forward, shoulders. Roll down into the middle, into that roll down position. Pull up and in at the tummy. And roll up to the top again, so we're tall at the top, coming up and over with your right arm. Keep the hips level. Take the stretch. If the hips start to shift, you'll lose that stretch a wee bit. Want that near the bottom of your ribs. Hold it for a nice long breath, reach into it. And then more or less kind of collapse forward again down through the shoulders and upper back. Hang at the bottom of that roll down position again. Hang for a wee second or two if you like. Just do this in your own speed. Roll up when you're ready. And come up and over with the other arm again, getting loads of freedom through your back here to finish. Roll down into it again. Just do that in your own time. When you're at the bottom, take a wee breath. Roll up when you're ready. Come up and over again with your right arm one more time. If I'm ahead of you, that's fine. Just take your time. Just flow through the movements. No rush. Just roll down into it again. Hang at the bottom. You feel the spine just moving all through all sorts of angles there. Pull up and in at the tummy. And relax. Okay, so we'll come to the tip of our mat again. Another wee roll down here, chin towards the chest. Roll down in towards the mat. Hang at the bottom. Take a few breaths there if you like, and when you're ready, we'll come back out onto your hands and knees. So hands under the shoulders, starting to know these positions or getting familiar with them, hopefully, the setup, so hopefully getting a wee bit quicker with them, but tuck in the tailbone again, belly button pulled up and in nice and tight, automatically creating that nice length from your tailbone to the top of the head. Pull the belly button up and in, a wee breath in to get ready, and lift your knees off the floor, just an inch off the ground. Holding there. And relax back down. Okay, so repeatedly saying it here, but just do what is challenging for you, challenging but doable, making sure you're doing things well. Doing an easier version of an exercise well is more important than doing a harder version poorly. Okay, so if you're comfortable with that, if you're finding it challenging enough, we're going to repeat that. If you're comfortable with it, bring your hands about a hand length further in front. So where your hands were, just an exact hand length further in front. Same setup, pull the belly button up and in nice and tight. Wee breath in to get ready, and lift your knees an inch off the floor. Now it's already a wee bit more challenging. If you're comfortable here, making sure you have the belly button pulled up tight towards the spine. That's crucial, or key to this one. I'm going to straighten up the legs if you like. Pushing your whole body forward in a long straight line, so your shoulders are just hovering over your fingertips. Belly button zipped up and tight. You mightn't be able to look at the camera here, but just careful that your back's not arching down, dropping down like this. Yes, you've totally let go at the core, if that's the case. Want the belly button zipped up and in nice and tight, backside squeezed as well. Bend your knees back, just bring the hips back behind you into that wee hover position. Set the knees down and sit back into the stretch again. Sit right back onto your heels, fingertips out in front. And then we'll walk both hands around to the left hand side. Keeping your hips nice and still, walk your hands around to one side. You feel that lengthening up on one side of your back. Good, and then we'll come across to the other side. Your hips stay still, remember. And relax, okay? Alright, so from here, we're going to come round onto our back side. Sit slightly towards the front half of your mat. What do we like for time? We're doing alright, we'll do another wee while here if you don't mind. Sitting towards the front half of your mat. Hands in behind the thighs. We did the wee half roll back the other night again. We'll just recap on it. So we're stacked up nice and tall at the spine. And the movement comes through your pelvis here. So we're not going back with a stiff straight back. Move through the pelvis, roll back into the mat, feel your tailbone roll back onto the floor, and then lift up tall onto your back side again. So roll back and up. If you're comfortable now, we're going to start to progress this. If you're comfortable, you can do it without holding onto your hands, or without holding onto your thighs, sorry, roll back and lift up tall through the chest again. Roll back into it and lift up tall. Tall posture at the top. Okay, so stay up in that top seated position. If that's challenging for you, stick with it. If you're comfortable, we'll try and move that on into the rolling like a ball here, which is a lovely exercise for your back if it's done right. But take care with it. I'll just show you the first one. If you know what you're doing there, feel free to get on into it. But toes pointed towards the floor. This time the hands are in front of the knees, just the very top of your shin. And from that tall seated position, roll back slightly again, putting a nice C curve through your spine. Okay? And we want to maintain that sort of C shape from the tailbone to your shoulder blades the whole time. Try not to let the shoulders round too far forward, still keeping them down away from your ears. Belly button zips up tight to keep that curve through your spine. That curve is important here because we're going to roll back as far as your shoulder blades and back up. So there's no big leg kick, it's just momentum. Roll onto the shoulder blades. When you get as far back as your shoulders, pull the tummy muscles down and even tighter. It'll help you back up to the top. So that's the rolling like a ball. If you want to give it a try there, please do. What we want to avoid in this one is that flattening out feeling on your back where you're having to kick up then to get to the top. So get the C curve from the start. Curve the spine back towards the mat. Maintain it by keeping the tummy tight. And then momentum should help you then. Okay, if you find that too challenging, keep the chin tucked in towards the chest. Sorry, don't let your head flick back towards the mat. You're only going as far as your shoulder blades. Keep your eyes down towards your belly button. If you're finding that too challenging, come back to the wee half rollbacks that we did a minute ago. Okay, so if you're going with the rolling like a ball, hopefully you're enjoying it there. Just keep going. Pull the tummy in nice and tight. Just another couple here. And we'll stay up the top in your next one. And relax. Right, so sitting up nice and tall. Stack the spine up, knees bent slightly. If you need the arms float up about shoulder height or so. And then roll down through the neck, the shoulders, upper back. Breathe down into that stretch. Keeping the legs nice and strong. Toes curled back. Reach long into it. Breathe. Breathe down into the stretch. And relax. Okay, so stacked up nice and tall again. We're going to sit back, roll back down into the mat, one vertebra at a time. Hopefully I'm still on camera here. Okay, so tummy muscles engaged, alright, so feet spread equally. Or feet spread hip width apart with the weight spread equally through them. Your knees are hip width apart as well. Your hands on your hip bones, just roll forward and back a time or two to find that neutral pelvis. Okay, and the core engages then. Alright, so zip the tummy muscles in nice and tight. So So hopefully with the pelvic floor engaged, nice length from tailbone to the top of your head. I'm not going to over egg this. Well, hopefully know the neutral pelvis now at this stage. But belly button zipped up and nice and tight. Don't lose that position as we bring our left knee up. All right. From there, bring your right hand in behind the head. Don't pull on the neck, just support the weight of your head. We're going to roll the right shoulder up off the floor towards the left hip. Up off the floor and relax. As if you're folding up and across your body. Your left hand there, if it's lying on the ground, you can just lift it a few inches off the floor, hovering off the ground, and reach long. I'm just trying to reach long in front. We're into the last couple of minutes here. Just finish with a wee touch in the abs. Belly button pulls down and in tight, so we don't want the tummy muscle doming up. Keep that left leg up there. Relax the head and shoulders, hands down by your sides. Just a quick wee check in here. If you're feeling this totally burning up in the hip flexors, there's a good chance that you've the knee too far back and you're squeezing that hip flexor. Or else that you've the knee too far away and it's all the weight of the leg is hanging on that hip flexor there. So the knees, the thigh bone should be straight up towards the roof. The knees just, the femurs just stacked straight down into the hip socket. Okay, so it's just resting there really. The core muscles are helping you hold it. Okay, so keeping the pelvis neutral. Don't lose that position now. Belly button zipped up and nice and tight. We're going to lower the left foot to the floor at the same time as we bring the right leg up. A wee scissor motion, one up and one down. Just touch the floor with your toes without letting your hips wobble side to side, without letting your hips roll forward and back like that. Keeping that neutral position. If you're comfortable here, instead of coming down to top of the floor, you can reach the legs long out in front. But it's done with control. Belly button still pulling down in towards the spine. Engage as much support here as we can. The next time we come up with the right leg, keep your left foot on the floor. The right leg up in that tabletop position. Left hand in behind your head and fold up across the body. Fold that left shoulder up onto your right hip. We're wrapping up now in a wee minute here. If anyone's in a rush to get read up, we're nearly finished. Don't miss the best bit. Last one here, roll up and relax, okay? So core still engaged. If you need a wee break here, just take a break and then reset, like I said the other night, reset. But if you're comfortable, going to keep that leg up. Tummy muscles zip up really tight now. Keep the pelvis stable and bring your left knee up as well. Okay, take the feet and the knees together. Squeeze the thighs, the feet, the knees together. Really lock them in like they've been zipped together. Roll the chin in towards your chest. Not tight into the chest. There's just lengthening the back of your neck. Shoulders and upper back roll up off the floor. Reach long with your fingertips. Pull the belly button down and in. So our eyes are towards our belly button. We'll pulse the arms up and down for 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Palms down. 3, 4, 5. Palms up. 3, 4, 30 in. 3, 4, 5 out. 2, 3, 4, 40. 5 out. 2, 4, 50. If you're feeling that too strained in the neck, try lifting your shoulders and upper back that wee bit higher. If it's still too sore, you can support the head with one hand. Again, don't pull on the neck. If you're finding it much too challenging, you can do it with one foot on the floor or even both feet on the floor. You'll still feel the core engaged. Now I've lost count. We must be at about 30 at least there. Thighs zipped up together. 3, 4, 70. 3, 4, 5 out. 2, 3, 4, 80. Not looking for pain. You should feel the tummy working definitely, but we're not looking for pain through your neck or hips. 5 out. 3, 4, 90 in. 2, 3, 4, 5 out. 2, 3, 4, 100. Keep the legs there, tummy tight. Roll the shoulders and head back down. And relax the right foot down onto the floor. Put the left foot onto your right knee. Okay, just relax here for a wee second. So we're done really. We'll just finish with a wee stretch in the backside. So with your left foot on your right knee, bring that right leg back towards you. Hold on to the thigh with your hands and just pull back gently into that stretch. If you feel that around your left cheek, that's the technical term for it. And a nice big stretch, just draw that leg back in, tummy muscles pull down and in. If you're having the mobility, or if it's too sore in your neck, or if you feel like you can't reach, you don't need to, you can still just press that knee back towards you. Relax. This time we'll bring our left foot onto the floor, right foot up onto the left knee, and then bring the leg back again. So bring that left leg back up towards you. Hold the thigh if you like, just looking for that deeper stretch. And relax. Okay, so that's the second one over. That's the free trial thingy over. So hopefully you've all enjoyed it, and I'll consider signing up for the next 6 weeks. So the 6-week block will start from next Thursday. There's that early bird price still of £25 for the 6 weeks, or it's £30 if you're going to pay after that. So that'll run out this evening sometime. So again, any feedback, I think I can see that I'm a wee bit dark here, maybe I have the wrong lighting or something. Anybody that knows stuff about photography and stuff, let me know what I should be doing instead. But any other feedback, please let me know. If you're enjoying it, hopefully you'll consider signing up. If there's anything else you want to work on, let me know as well. But the two classes were very different there. One was very much based on your back and seated really, and that one was more standing on all fours. So the classes going forward will be a mix of all four of those positions really. The side lying as well. I meant to do some clams there, that seemed to go down popular the other night, but we'll do them on Thursday again. So that's the class really. Any questions or anything you're unsure about, just give me a wee shout. If you enjoyed it, just please spread the word on, or tell as many people as you like. The more the merrier. But that's it. Thank you everybody for getting up at such a awful time on a Saturday morning. Alright, thank you. Have a good weekend.